Welcome back. This week's subject is a portrait of an eagle. Let's draw in the pupil first with a pen. It makes life much easier than trying to paint such a small circle. Let's start by mixing some brown for the iris. Just carefully going around your eye. Leave a little white spot for reflection. Once we have our eye filled in, we can use this to work out the proportions of the rest of our head. So take your time. Just going to go around the eye area. I don't know what we call the part between the eye and the beak that is skin, but whatever it is called, that is what we're painting in right now. Just going to drop in some more pigment just in front of the eye. If you can, leave a cleaner, whiter space closer to the eye. It's just going to help the contrast and show where the eye socket is. Go across the brow of the eye. That should be just a little bit lighter as it sticks out, so that's going to catch more light. And work your way down. You can't really make a mistake here. The colour you're using is quite light, and the eagle today we're painting is black. So that makes it nice and easy to cover up any mistake we might make. But things are going quite well here. So we're just going to carry on. Once we've dropped in some darker red. Oh, the sun has come out. Lovely. I'm painting in front of a window, so it has been raining. Now the sun's come out. So just think about where you're going with the painting. I'm going to put in the tip of his beak, which is orange, then yellow, and then at the very end is black. So we're going to put in the yellow first. That's going to be a little bit of underpainting. And then we can drop in the black colour. Because we've already wetted the paper with the yellow, the black is relatively easy to paint in. You really don't have to paint much, it's just dropping pigment onto the wet area. So I'm just going to carry on working in some highlights to the beak, and then we're going to start on the plumage around his head. As I say, don't be too careful. We want a nice loose painting. As you can see, I've got lots of water on my brush. I don't have to keep going back for more pigment, which is the main reason we use a big brush. Keep working in the colours. I'm just going to broaden out his head. Add in some details closer to that skin area. I'm assuming this eagle is a boy. I don't really know. I'm not sure if the girl's plumage is different. Apologies if you're Mrs. Eagle. Let's put in the darker feathers at the bottom. Once we have the proportions a little better, that indicates to us how far back the plumage on the head goes. Just be light, put in some more feathers. Oh, the sun is going crazy today. Big dark clouds, so We're going from light to dark. This is the top of his wings we're now putting in, and the base of the second wing on the left. As you can see, the top of his head is much bluer right now than the bottom. That's because it's catching all that light. So we want to exaggerate that a little bit. So when we come back and add highlights, we can add a little bit more depth in color. So at the top we're going to add a darker color over the lighter color. And at the bottom of the eagle, where his breastbone is, we're going to add a lighter color over the dark. So that's going to give us a little bit of a different texture, a different tone. But we're doing that with the same two colors. Just go over the brow, connect up his beak to the rest of his head. This part is finer details. So for small details, remember, we hold our brush vertical. Big broad strokes, we want our brush horizontal. Okay, so a nice vertical brush. Finish his beak. Around the top of his brow again, keep that highlight. And now we can extend his beak in a nice smooth gradient across the top edge of his mouth. Going around the nasal cavity, add some highlights to the top. And now we can add some more indications of plumage. So I'm just going to carry on working in colours to his body. And if anything important comes up, I'm going to come back and remind you. So we're getting towards the later stages of our painting. We've got most of the main body of the colours filled in. From here on out, it's just about adding texture and odd little details. We're going to add a little bit of a contrast with some sienna. Wet our paper just a little. We've been painting for a few minutes now. It's getting a little dry. I'm going to carry on laying in pigment. So this is our second or third wash in some places. This is going to build up texture. I'm going to go back in odd places, lift off colour to add detail. And now we're just going to lift off some of that very dark blue, almost black, and show the highlights on his outermost feathers. Just use the shape of your brush. You don't need to paint each feather directly. We want to indicate and give the feeling of a nice, fluffy bird. Is fluffy the right word? I don't think it is. But you know what I'm saying. We're going to add some detail now with our sharp tool. This is a sharpened chopstick. I like to use this instead of using a brush. I tend not to use a pen apart from the pupil of the animal when we start. I would much rather spread the paint with my brush or some kind of sharp object. Well, we've nearly done. We're just going to pick out some final details, fiddle a little bit, hopefully not too much. A couple of things I like to do at the end of my paintings is to add the very lightest areas. So here the top edge of his wing, we can hardly see it. And the same on the other side. And then we can come back and use a sharp tool to add just those final tiny details. After this, we're going to use a palette knife to pick out highlights and make our painting look a little bit more painterly. Just picking out some texture. And now we're going to add some of those broader marks across the top of our painting. We want to give it a nice loose feeling. We're not trying to illustrate a bird here. We're trying to paint the feeling of it. And that is us just about done. I might come back and add a little bit more yellow to the beak. Oops, a little bit too free there. Rein that back in with the brush and some water. Yeah, I think I'm going to come back and just add a little bit of yellow to the top edge of that beak. And then we're going to be finished. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration, and I hope you give it a go yourself. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.